All right, so here's a short video. I just wanted to get out and get it down uh, about Dungeons and Dragons (D&D). It's mentioned twice in the past and the future box, uh, and so I was had a discussion with one of the people in the Discord, Joe, as he goes by, and here's just my thoughts on how this game affects this particular puzzle, and I don't know, it could just be a wild tangent I'm on right now, but I think it's worth putting down into film so it's recorded and I can go back to it later. And if it happens to strike a chord with anybody else. Um, okay, to start out, this video right here is going to be on the past and future box, specifically how Dungeons and Dragons relates to it, because I do believe there is a significance to stuff that's repeated 2 or 3 or even more times, and Dungeons and Dragons is mentioned twice. Not to mention, there's some outside the book stuff, like his first interview when he came out and his first published interview, I'll say, because there was an interview before that that wasn't published yet. But his first one was on like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of themed show basis, and so he said that he plays Dungeons and Dragons, so I think it's not only did he choose Ready Player One, and choose to talk about Ernest Cline in this chapter in part 2, but he also includes Dungeons and Dragons, saying it twice. I think it's a really big tie-in. So here's the main point. All right, is that he's talked about there's different puzzles for different types of brains. All right. He said he's going to reveal when a box is found. He'll reveal, I guess, the solve, however he defines that. And I take that to mean that the boxes are different enough that he can reveal a solve without revealing everything. I don't think it's, oh, once the first box is found, we'll understand how to do all of them. No, I mean, we'll have a little bit better knowledge about how he creates puzzles, especially how he created that one. But I don't think it's going to give away the whole enchilada, right? So with all that being said, here's I said this before, but here's the point I'm trying to get to, is that I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons, I don't know, maybe about 5 to 7 years. The last couple of years, I've been in two different groups, one in person and one virtual. We meet. We used to meet like twice a month. Now we're meeting weekly. So the last couple of years, I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I've led a couple campaigns. We rotate dungeon masters, right? And it's been my experience, and just my limited experience of Dungeons and Dragons, again, very limited, that most of the puzzles we encounter are, how I would say, physical puzzles, or there's a physical element. And here's what I mean by that. It's most of the time it's in a dungeon, or a treasure room, and there's objects that we have to interact with to unlock the mystery or unlock the room or solve the puzzle, right? So sometimes it's colored orbs, or sometimes it's items on a table that deal with a story or an inscription on the wall, and there's statues or murals that we have to light sconces. It's just it's very rarely do we you intercept a letter and it's a word search, or you intercept a poem and you have to decipher. No, it's very rarely, it hasn't been that. It's normally physical puzzles. And I think when we look across some of the more famous modules, with 5e especially, that's what I'm familiar with. I think there's a similarity of how the puzzles are created, right? And there's also a penalty, right? So there's, when you get it wrong, most of the time something happens that attacks or damages your character, right? Or a trap is exposed, or something like that. So all that being said, here's kind of my working theory. Just for tonight, I've been chewing on it a bit. I've looked at the book a little bit. I always find I think a little bit more clearly after I've spoken it and tried to communicate it across. Then I can kind of sit back and say, oh, okay. So let me try one more time to succinctly communicate what I'm saying. I think that the past and the future box, I think that it's a physical puzzle somehow in this word search. Or I'll say, you know what? I'll open it up and say somehow in this chapter, it's a puzzle that we as a player interact with. Now, do I think we, cut up pieces, fold the paper, move it around? No. I think you can transcribe. You can move the word search onto paper and use paper pen or paper pencil, or you can use Excel, right, and do it on the computer. But you have to interact with the puzzle in some way, and it'll produce different outcomes. And I think some will be incorrect. And instead of your player getting attacked or punished, I think a red herring will present itself. And so in the dungeon, that's similar to you lit the sconces in the wrong order, and now poison gas floods the room. Well, in the crossword, it's you did the wrong puzzle, or you did the puzzle in the wrong order, and now this state has presented itself. So that's your red herring, and enjoy messing around that state for the next couple months. Or an example of like a pitfall or a trap could be, here's you use the puzzle this way, you got this phrase, and it's just a dead end. Nothing will come of it. Have fun for a couple months. So, and ideally, if you interact with the puzzle in the right way, you'll get the right solve, and it will lead you. Again, we don't know how exact or how far off trail or what. And looking back on the things I've tried, especially my current solve, do I think that I've interacted with the puzzle? All right, so I did the word search. I took some letters, I moved them around, I grouped them. You know, I'm on the fence about if what I did is considered interacting with the puzzle. I'm taking from and shuffling, reorganizing, and placing, but I didn't really put something back in. And I'm wondering if that's an element of you have to take something from, put something back in. You have to do an action or do something. So I don't know. I just wanted to get that out there and let people chew on it, think on it, let myself chew on it, my subconscious. Do I think this applies to the lion's share or the other boxes? No, I think this is unique for this puzzle. Thinking back into the other thing he mentioned twice, Pac-Man, is Pac-Man something that you put in and take out? I don't really know. I mean, I wouldn't really say that there's different outcomes to the puzzle. It's either, you evade the ghost or you get hit by the ghost. I don't think there's, you can try. I mean, there's different paths you can take, but I would classify them differently. And so, again, why do I weight Dungeons and Dragons higher? Only because of the interviews and the text and what he's spoken about Dungeons and Dragons. If he had done an interview on some arcade YouTube channel and talked about Pac-Man early on, maybe I'd lean a little bit more toward Pac-Man. But that's where I'm at right now. This is a short video. Looks like we're going to wrap it up about a little under 10 minutes. Yeah, let me know what you think. Past and the future box, if you can, and a lot of people are doing this. A lot of people are manipulating the word search. So I'm not saying this is new and groundbreaking. I'm just saying this is a new way to express it, a new way to think about what we're already doing, what most of us are doing. Many people are manipulating the puzzle, finding maps, finding this, and they're doing stuff to it. I think this just offers an explanation for why can a couple hundred people work on the puzzle, and out of those couple hundred people, 5 or 6 states come out repeatedly, and the solutions look so good. Well, that could be one reason. You're in this tomb of the Lich or whatever, and you're manipulating the first puzzle room, and you're lighting sconces held by statues, and if you do it in this order, this door opens, which just leads to a bunch of enemies. If you do it in this order, this door opens, which leads to a narrow, greased slope that you just never can climb up. But if you do it in this order, it leads to this room, which is the correct way, right? And how many rooms are there and how many puzzles? I don't know. This is just something to think about. All right, that's it. It was snowing here. The roads are pretty slick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do boots on the ground. And normally any sign of snow, they shut down Skyline Drive. So we'll see what the week holds. All right, take care. Bye.